What would you say if your brother called from across the ocean, asking about the one person you could never fully explain? My phone buzzed that evening, the familiar number lighting up the screen. It was Kai, my younger brother, his voice crackling through the line from Hawaii, where he'd moved years ago to chase a simpler life. "Hey man," he said, his tone casual but edged with something heavier. "Where's Lena? I haven't heard from her in a while." The question hung like a storm cloud. I stood in our quiet house, the weight of the truth pressing against my chest. My answer would change everything. Lena and I had met a decade ago, two restless souls colliding at a beach bonfire. She was firelight and laughter, her eyes holding secrets she'd never share. I was a drifter then, working odd jobs, unsure of my place in the world. But Lena, she was my anchor. We married quickly, promising each other forever under a starlit sky. Kai loved her too, like a sister. He'd call her for advice, send her silly postcards from Oahu, and tease me about how I'd lucked out. For years, we were a trio, even with an ocean between us. But forever is a fragile word. 3 years ago, Lena started to change. It was subtle at first: missed calls, late nights at work, a distant look in her eyes. I thought it was stress. She was a nurse, always carrying the weight of others' pain. I'd ask if she was okay, and she'd smile, brushing it off. "Just tired," she'd say, her voice soft but unconvincing. Then came the arguments, sharp and jagged, tearing at the seams of our life. One night, she didn't come home. Her phone went to voicemail. Her coworkers said she'd quit without notice. I searched for weeks: hospitals, friends, even the police. Theories haunted me. Had she left me? Was she hurt? I replayed our last fight, her words cutting deeper each time. "You don't see me anymore, Daniel." I scoured every corner of our small coastal town, hoping for a clue. Months passed, then a year. I stopped sleeping, my dreams plagued by her face. Kai would call, asking for updates, his voice growing quieter with each "no news." I could hear his hope fading, mirroring my own. That evening, when Kai asked about Lena, I took a breath, the truth clawing its way out. "She's gone, Kai," I said, my voice steady despite the ache. "But not like you think." Silence stretched across the line, heavy and suffocating. I told him what I'd found, buried in a box of her things I'd finally mustered the courage to open. Letters, dozens of them, written in her careful script. They weren't to me or Kai. They were to someone named Emily, a name I'd never heard. Each one spoke of love, regret, and a life Lena had kept hidden, a life she'd left to protect. Lena hadn't vanished. She'd chosen to disappear. The letters revealed a truth she'd buried. Before me, she'd been someone else, tied to a past she couldn't escape. Emily was part of that past, someone she'd loved deeply but left behind for reasons she never fully explained. The letters hinted at danger, a shadow from her old life that had resurfaced. She'd written of fear, of needing to vanish to keep us safe. The last letter, dated the day she left, ended with, "I'm sorry, Daniel. Loving you was my truth, but this is my goodbye." Kai didn't speak. I could hear his breathing, uneven, processing the weight of it all. "She's out there somewhere," I continued, "living a new life, maybe under a new name. I don't know if she's safe, but I know she didn't want to drag us into her storm." I told him how I'd tracked down leads, piecing together fragments of her path. A friend of a friend mentioned a woman matching her description in a small Alaskan town, working at a clinic. It wasn't certain, but it was enough to keep me going. The silence broke when Kai finally spoke, his voice raw. "Why didn't she tell us?" I had no answer. We sat with the truth, two brothers bound by love for a woman who'd chosen to save us by leaving. I thought of Lena, out there, carrying her secrets alone. I didn't hate her. I couldn't. She'd given me years of light, even if they ended in shadow. Days later, Kai flew in from Hawaii. We sat on my porch, the ocean stretching before us, and made a pact. We'd keep searching, not to drag her back, but to let her know we understood. Lena had taught us something vital. Love isn't possession. It's letting go when it's the only way to protect someone. Somewhere, she was out there, her courage a quiet flame. And we'd carry her with us, not as a ghost, but as a reminder of what it means to love through loss.